Hey folks, AJ the CEO here, and we got ourselves another PTZ camera. This is from Prisual. They sent this one to me. This is a 20x PTZ with AI tracking. So let's go ahead and open it up, see what's inside. Let's put it through its paces to see, is it worth adding to your collection if you're looking at adding another PTZ to your setup. Alrighty folks, so in full disclosure, Prisual sent this to me. They are seeing the review and the unboxing the exact same time that y'all are. The opinions are my own, and they didn't pay me for this, but I mean, they gave me the product, so I guess that's a form of payment, but I just like to give you a full disclosure of that. Alrighty, most of these are pretty much all the same. We got our manual here. We got a wall mount. I am so glad they started including these. A lot of times, I guess to make some extra money or whatever, they made the mount separate, and then they start charging you like between $25 and $75 for a mount. Like, just throw it in. Anyway, we have a USB-C cable to a USB-A, and it has a locking screw on it. We have some international plugs here for power. I need to put that because I'm not using this. A bunch of other ones. US one, but we're not going to be using this. I believe this is PoE powered. And we also have our plug. We got a remote. And we have the camera and an awesome bag of silica. Don't eat that, kids. Alrighty. So a little bit smaller than the footprint I normally have used with the other camera. So, but it is solid. It feels like a much sturdier plastic encased with metal. But let's go ahead and look at the I/O ports in the back. So in the back, we do have an Ethernet, a RJ45. We have an HDMI out, a RS232. Now it's only one in. So if you were trying to daisy chain this actually needs to be at the end of the daisy chain because there's no loop out. USB-C, and there's a locking screw hole that you can screw into that. Line out, so audio coming out, line in. Maybe you should read, AJ. So we can plug a mic into this and it can send the audio and the video over HDMI out. We have a RS485 connection, and we have power. On the bottom, there are no dip switches. And again, this is a 20x NDI. Didn't know about the NDI one. PTZ camera that does have AI tracking in it, and it does give the default username and passwords, which is just admin and admin. Thank you for actually writing that down. On there, we got some feet, got a quarter screw for screwing into there. In the front, we just got a standby and power cable, LED, excuse me. And that's pretty much it. Lens cap. And somebody asked me this. No, you don't have to climb back up in the ladder and put the lens cap on with this. So now that we got that, let's go ahead and hook this up. And like I said, this is actually going to be one that I'm gifting in our giveaway when we hit 70,000 subscribers. So thank you, Prisual, that you've already blessed a ministry with this. Let's go ahead. I'm going to get one of my mini stands here. Not that I need to, and honestly, I don't even know why I got the mini stand. It's set perfectly fine on the table. All right, we got it set there. Let's hook this up into our system so that y'all can see it. So we got our HDMI in there, and I have a Ethernet connection right here. And boom, we're getting power, and there you go. So now that we have this set up, I have it going through my Ori wireless HDMI. So we should get an image here shortly. once everything is powered up. That's finished. And there we go. There's our image. So for y'all, we have 97 right there. So there's our image. Let's go ahead now and let's go over to the computer because we know what the IP address is. This is 97. So we can actually, hold on. Before we go to this, let's go ahead and cut back over here and let's see, can we link to this on my Joystick? All right, so we're gonna go from here. Let's go ahead and do a search. Now we know that this camera is on 97. So let's search. We're gonna look at Visca over IP, our first option. And it is not showing. We're only seeing the other one. So let's back out. Let's go on to OnVIF, a different protocol. We're gonna see a bunch of stuff on my network. There's a lot of things use that protocol, but we're looking for 97. And there it is, right there. So there's our linkage, so we can link it to here. So now let's go over to the computer and let's look at the interface of the camera and we can see all the other fun stuff and get it linked, and then we can turn on all the other functions and see what else this camera can do. All righty, let's cut over here to the desktop. And we're going to go to the IP address 192.168.0.97, which shows that the camera is actually set up to DHCP to grab an IP address. All right, and it said admin, all lowercase. And we're not going to save that. And there we go. So you can see us in here. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see some more of the menu, and let's go full screen. So pretty much just like a lot of these other cameras, the interface is exactly the same, but as you can see down here, this is engaging our tracking. So we can turn that on, but we'll come back to that. Pretty much, I would assume all of this is the same settings. So in video, we can change our frequency. I'm gonna crank that up to 60 Hertz. And we have our streaming settings. So what frame rate we're sending over the stream. So this is the output. So that's 60 Hertz. 50 Hertz frame rate, frames per second for that. And if you're sending video over the network, this is where you can change the frame rate for that. And you have two streams. Typically, they're like high and low, but that's straightforward. Let's go over to the image. This is where you can flip the image, mirror it if you are hanging it upside down, which is personally what I do so I can get more of a range of motion. And you can dial in the colors here if you want to. Audio, like I said, you can set that if you're hooking up a mixer directly to the camera. I don't know why you would do that, but that is an option. If you are hooking up a mixer, you would keep it at line in. And it doesn't look like it has a microphone setting here. So that's strange because you would want to set it at line in if you are bringing in a mixer. If you were having a regular microphone, you would need to boost that signal. So that's strange that that's not an option, but we're just calling that out. Under system, you got where you can change your password, set a guest username. I typically never change this stuff. And you can reboot it. Here's your network. You can set it to dynamic or fixed. I personally set it to fixed on the device and at the router level. So if your internet goes out, you can still control it. We talked about that in another video. All our ports for everything. For RTSP, for TCP, and UDP for if you're using any of those protocols. So it does show that it's sending it over Visca. So you could control the camera, might have to manually do that to the joystick. And this is where you can turn your streams on. You can turn on RST if you wanted to use that. Authentication for OnVIF if you even want to use it. Multicasting. All that other good stuff. And then we got our time zones and all this other stuff. And I'm gonna keep that off because I have no idea who's gonna win this. So you can set that, not that much of a serious issue. Now, this does have NDI support. So you can always change the NDI name here in the channels, all this other fun stuff to use that. So let's actually open up our NDI monitor here for half a second. And let's see if I bring it over here. And let's see what shows up. There's our camera because there's the name and there's the IP address. So by default, boom, it is working. So you can see me waving up here. So NDI is supported, so great out of the box. So that means that there's a license already included, so you ain't got to pay for it. All right, under information, you can always change your name, your firmware, all the other fun stuff. All right, as we talked about, you can use the controls here to move it around on the interface if you wanted to, or the remote that comes with it. You can set your speeds and all this other fun stuff. But more importantly, we want to play around with the tracking. So under tracking mode, you have frame and you have track. So if we just turn on track, and let's actually switch back to that camera. I'm gonna set on track, and that is now on. So now it is following me. So really good, and my knee when I tried to bend down there. All right, so very good. Now, I mean, I wonder how, so it is picking up speed. So it is kind of, I think one of the other things is, I must say the fluidity of it moving is a lot, I mean, it's not jerky and mechanical, which shows this over time, the AI tracking and the algorithms that are being used to make this stuff is working well. Because I have both of my cameras on right now that are tracking me, but we're going directly with the Prisual that's following me, and both of them are flowing very nicely in comparison to how it will work. So now let's cut back over here and let's see what the frame mode is. So it says auto framing. So I would assume that is gonna give you a tighter shot. And see, it's not tracking me now, it's locking here. So I'm wondering if we have to adjust it where it's looking at right now. So now, see, now it's looking at me. Let's sit down. So I'm not exactly sure the difference between the framing, and it's still moving down. I'm not sure the difference between the framing and what's this other setting? Frame and track. I really don't know because it doesn't give you any more detail on what that would be. So some of the other issues that I've had with some of these cameras that have the tracking, it tracks, but it doesn't give you anything else. And I know a lot of y'all have used these cameras, and one of the concerns was, okay, I like the fact that it's tracking, but I want it to track, but I want to punch in and have a tighter shot. It looks like when tracking is on, it doesn't really give you, so like right now, I tried to move and I need to bring the shot down. And when I turn on tracking, see, I'm using zoom in. Once you turn tracking on, there is no other control. So that, it looks like this is the same. So once you have tracking on, you're kind of locked to what it thinks it needs to be. So you can't punch in and do anything like that. So not knocking them, it just seems like a lot of cameras are not giving that option. Even the more expensive ones that have auto tracking, I have not seen that being an option. It's just like, this is what we think is the best option for you. So be mindful of that. Now, this does still work very well. Again, I don't have any other people here, so I can test to see how much it will lock onto me, or how much of a distraction can break the tracking. Meaning that, like when I first did one of these, I had Ayana running around, and then the camera jumped to her. It didn't know to lock onto me. That's just something I still think is still in development, but just letting you know that the tracking works is actually very well. How I use this is I only turn the tracking on when I know that one subject is pretty much done. So let me turn my lights off here so it actually looks better. So, I mean, outside of that, what I normally use these for are when I turn on the AI tracking, because of the limited functions of zooming in, locking onto a certain person. Again, this is over all the PTZs that I have. I have 5 of them here that all have auto tracking, and none of them allow me to do a tighter shot. Once you turn on auto tracking, you are leaving all of the controls to the camera and AI, so you can't zoom in or reframe the picture. When I use this, I make sure to have people turn it on when the sermon's getting ready to start, remove everybody from the pulpit. It's only one person. That has been best practices for me. And just over time, I've noticed the fluidity of how it's moving. It's not very mechanical. It's getting a lot better. And I've really liked how this moved. It was very smooth in how I was moving. So again, Prisual, thank you so much for sending this to me. You can get this one, and this does support HX2, HX3, NDI, and it is going for... Hey, this is future AJ, and I realized that I pulled up the wrong reference number for this camera. The camera is actually $399, so that's an even better deal. So I have a link down below. When I went and verified the link again, I was like, oh, I had selected the wrong one. So again, my apologies. The camera is $399. Again, another great option that is not breaking the bank. We're not even, I remember back in the days, it was like thousands of dollars or $1,000 for a camera, and you're getting more features, all this other stuff, NDI, tracking, great image quality, the sensor and all that other stuff, which I didn't do a deep dive on. Most of these have the exact same sensor until you're getting into 4K cameras. But just the fact that you can get these features for your ministry at under $600 for a camera, I think is a great option as well. Link is going to be down below if you're interested in getting one. And like I said, as we're approaching our 70,000 subscriber goal, this is going to be one of the cameras that we're going to be gifting to a ministry as we reach up to 250,000 subscribers. We're going to be doing a giveaway every time we hit a milestone, and 70,000 is the next one that we're coming close to. Link is down below if you're interested in getting in that giveaway. If you're already a part of it, don't worry, you're already listed there. If you're a Patreon or YouTube member, your name is entered twice as a thank you for being a support. So may the odds be ever in your favor. And Prisual, thank you so much for sending this, and another great product. And I hope whoever wins this can put this to great use at their ministry or wherever they're going to be using it at. So if you like this type of content, appreciate a like, consider subscribing, hit that bell, that way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Thanks for watching, folks. This is AJ. Catch you on the next video. Later.